Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. RHOBH, Dorit Kemsley recounts son's heartbreaking medical scare. RHOBH star Dorit Kemsley is recounting her son, Jagger's heartbreaking medical scare. She and her husband, PK Kemsley, are currently separated, which will be documented in the upcoming season. So what did the co-parents deal with concerning their son? Keep reading for more details. Dorit Kemsley recounts son's heartbreaking medical scare. This has been a traumatic few years for Dorit Kemsley and her family. They were the victims of a home invasion where she was held at gunpoint. The kids were in their bedrooms sleeping and her husband, PK Kemsley, was out of town. That left Dorit alone to handle it, and she suffered from PTSD. The robbers were never caught, and then, just a short time later, she was mugged again. She was shopping and had taken out $10,000 cash. Dorit was followed and the money was stolen from her bag. Despite trying to make PK understand her struggles, he was more frustrated by her. They ended up parting ways after a very rough time. Some have claimed they were not living together longer than they stated. However, they have wanted to keep on a brave face for their kids, Jagger and Phoenix. This will be shown in Season 14 of RHOBH, which premieres on November 19th. That is when the true downfall of their marriage will be displayed for the world to see. As they prepare to watch the playback, Dorit and PK have been dealing with something far more serious. Their son Jagger, 10, was just hospitalized. As it turned out, he had a septic hip. According to Page 6, the fashion designer recounted the heartbreaking event in her Halloween post. Dressed as the Flintstones, she explained that Jagger had 2 surgeries in a week for a septic hip, septic arthritis. This can occur when germs get into the bloodstream and infect the joints. He then spent 2 weeks in the hospital as he recovered. Back together. Many people questioned over and over who Fred Flintstone was, and it was PK Kemsley. He was tagged in the family photo and even poked fun at the repetitive comment. PK needed a laugh as he has been with his family in the hospital. On October 15th, he shared this update about Jagger. Of course, viewers were worried about him as they had seen Jagger since he was a toddler. Now he's a little man. This is horrible, but fortunately, he is healing and was able to celebrate the best way possible. In an emotional retelling, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star Dorit Kemsley opened up about a harrowing experience involving her son Jagger. Known for her glamorous life and chic fashion sense, Dorit showed a rare vulnerability as she shared the terrifying moments that reminded her, and perhaps her fans, of how quickly life can turn from blissful to uncertain. It all began on an unremarkable Tuesday morning. Dorit was busy preparing Jagger and his sister, Phoenix, for school when she noticed something unusual. Jagger, usually brimming with energy, was unusually quiet. He seemed fatigued and complained of a mild headache. As a mother of 2, Dorit had seen her children go through countless minor ailments, but this time there was an inexplicable feeling gnawing at her. Trusting her intuition, she decided to keep a close eye on him, telling herself it was probably just a bug. Throughout the day, Dorit's concern only grew. Jagger was listless, and when he began experiencing severe stomach pains and a fever that wouldn't subside, her mom radar was on high alert. Dorit reached out to her husband PK, who was on a business trip, and they agreed it was time to seek medical help. Upon arriving at the hospital, Dorit was met with a wave of dread. Watching Jagger lying in a hospital bed, visibly in pain, stirred something deep within her. A primal fear that every parent knows. The doctors began a series of tests, leaving Dorit and Jagger alone in the cold, sterile room. She tried to soothe him, keeping her voice calm and her tone light, but she couldn't ignore the pit of fear in her stomach. As the hours passed, Jagger's condition worsened. What had initially been mild pain escalated into intense agony. He clung to his mother, his face pale, as Dorit did everything to keep him comfortable. She stroked his hair, whispered stories, and tried to distract him with anything that came to mind, yet her own mind raced with worry. Eventually, the doctor returned, his expression serious. He explained that they had identified a rare condition affecting Jagger's abdomen, requiring immediate surgery to prevent complications. The moment those words left his lips, Dorit felt her heart sink. Surgery? Her little boy would need to be cut open. The idea filled her with fear, but she knew she had to be strong. for Jagger. Throughout the ordeal, Dorit kept her composure, even managing a shaky smile for her son as they wheeled him into the operating room. PK, stranded on the other side of the country, was frantic, calling every few minutes to check on Jagger. But as Dorit sat alone in the waiting room, surrounded by the muffled sounds of the hospital, she felt a strange sense of calm settle over her. Her thoughts swirled between memories of Jagger's infectious laughter, his boundless energy, and his big, bright eyes. She prayed fervently, hoping with every fiber of her being that her son would come out of this stronger than ever. After what felt like an eternity, the doctor emerged, his face softening into a gentle smile as he reassured her that the surgery had been successful. Relief washed over her in a tidal wave, and she found herself fighting back tears. When she was finally allowed to see Jagger, still groggy from anesthesia but safe, she hugged him gently, overwhelmed by a sense of gratitude she could barely express. Dorit stayed by his side, watching as he recovered. She couldn't help but think about how quickly things could change, how the lives they showcased on RHOBH, with the endless parties and luxurious settings, could be interrupted by moments like this. Her son's health scare had brought her back to what truly mattered. The days that followed were a slow and steady climb to normalcy. Jagger, resilient as ever, regained his strength, and Dorit felt her heart heal bit by bit as his usual lively spirit returned. Phoenix, who had been kept away from the hospital, was thrilled to see her brother back, and PK, now home, held his family close. When Dorit shared the story with her castmates, they were taken aback by her honesty and vulnerability. This wasn't the glamorous Dorit they were used to. It was a mother who had gone through a harrowing ordeal. Her friends rallied around her, expressing admiration for her strength and resilience. Dorit's experience changed her perspective too. She began making more time for her family, prioritizing moments with Jagger and Phoenix above all else. She realized that while the show, the fashion, and the lifestyle were aspects of her identity, nothing compared to being a mother. Reflecting on the ordeal months later, Dorit shared, "It was a terrifying experience, one that I wouldn't wish on any parent, but it reminded me of what truly matters. My children are my world. I think sometimes, in the midst of everything else, we can forget that. But at the end of the day, our families are our anchor." In the seasons to come, RHOBH fans might see a softer side of Dorit. Her designer wardrobe and impeccable style will always be a part of her, but perhaps they'll also catch a glimpse of the deep, unshakable love she has for her children, a love that transcends fame, fortune, and even the show that made her a household name. For Dorit, life has a new perspective, one anchored by the preciousness of every moment with her loved ones.